Hey everyone, this is Will from China and welcome to this brand new and exciting episode of The Missing Piece. Come to think of it, back in the days when I was traveling around the world, I was amazed about one of the unique countries, Egypt. When I was touring the country, I couldn't help noticing the civilization took place over the decade. And also, the food was surely delicious. But actually, what astonished me the most was about how popular the Chinese language was in Egypt. Did you know Chinese language was the fourth largest widely spoken language in Egypt? Every time I went to visit the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, I couldn't help noticing how the younger generations in Egypt, they were using the Chinese language, explaining to the tourists from China regarding the history of Egypt. Think about this. How difficult or how challenging could be even to learn the Egyptian civilization in English, let alone telling the language or let alone sharing the story in Chinese language. Again, I was amazed about how popular the Chinese language was in Egypt. However, within the same continent, a small nation called Rwanda, population only about 12 million. Guess what? Chinese is also a popular language in Rwanda. In this episode, we are going to talk about this small nation, and especially a distinguished guest join this episode and share with me two things. And number one, what did younger generation think of China before, and how do the younger generations in Rwanda see China today? And second, why there are so many people from Rwanda flooding to Chinese cities? What are their purposes? Why are they even here, especially in the midst of the pandemic?
Excited to be here.
A nation of 12 million people, nature, beauty, and sleepless cities. Put all together, you get Rwanda, a unique nation located in Africa continent. Out of many, one person stood out, Donna, who was born and raised in Rwanda and moved to Beijing 5 years ago to seek better answers in life.
I'm Donna. I'm from Rwanda. I was born in Rwanda. I live in Beijing here with the purpose of studies. I came here in 2016 for my master's degree, and then I went back home for a few months and I came back for PhD.
For Donna, Rwanda is more than just an African nation. It has hidden treasure inside.
Rwanda is a small country. Geographically, it's in the center of Africa, in the heart of Africa, but politically it's in East Africa. It's part of the East African community, which is composed by a few countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, South Sudan, and Burundi. And that country is really small because its area is 26,338 square kilometers with 12 million people. That's the population. Rwanda is known for having been the first country to stop the use of plastics. Nobody can enter the country with any plastic bag or any plastic thing in the country because we take much care of environment. Rwanda is the cleanest, among the cleanest countries in the world, and in Africa it's the first of course. It's a country where doing business it has been eased so much. It's the second country after Mauritius in Africa. And Rwanda has good policies that actually favors female and promotes women and girl child.
Besides the fast rising power in women leadership, Donna also had the grateful heart towards the international economic cooperation. Without making meaningful partners, it's rather hard for a nation like Rwanda to survive the ongoing economic shift.
Rwanda and China have enjoyed long-lasting diplomatic relations since the last 50 years. We are celebrating 50 years towards the end of this year. And from that period, Rwanda and China have cooperated in different areas, areas of infrastructure mainly, and trade and industry. We have also been blessed to have the national language, Kinyarwanda, being taught to Chinese here at one of the universities. I have visited that class. I have found some young Chinese trying to learn Kinyarwanda. I felt amazed, and I cannot actually number all of them or name all of them, but we really enjoy a good relationship with Chinese people. We have had some intermarriages between Chinese and Rwandese, so I feel at home actually when I'm in Beijing, the same way I feel when I'm in Kigali.
The younger generations in Rwanda are also making social and political changes today. Owing to the availability of high tech, China and the world are the hot topics for the millennials in Rwanda.
Actually, from my perspective and from the perspective of young people from Rwanda, we take China as a role model in different fields. That's why we see a lot of young people coming here for business, coming here for studies, and coming here for tourism. Why do we see China as a model in many fields? China has been in the situation like the situation in which Africa is or Rwanda is now. You know, when it comes, let's say, to education, China has been sending its people to Europe, to USA, actually to go and learn and then borrow what they have been learning, and then they implement it here in China. And you can see it worked. When you see what China has achieved in terms of development, in terms of governance, in terms of different fields, you always see that actually it's what other people were doing abroad, but which have been tailored to the customs, to the culture, to the situation, to the history of Chinese people. And Rwanda has started actually doing the same thing. The system of administration, we call it democracy, but it's democracy which is tailored to the values of Rwandans. When we come here and we see what you are doing in education, we borrow, we take the same thing, and when we arrive at home in Rwanda, we want to actually accommodate that to the realities on the ground in the country. When we are doing businesses and all of those things, we still do the same. And I'm happy that the young people with whom we exchange actually feel the same. They always feel like it's okay to borrow from China, to learn from China, but also to make sure that it's sustainable. We always discuss and agree on one point. It's better to adapt it to the situation on the ground in Rwanda.
Donna is one of the kind and compassionate citizens from Rwanda. This small but beautiful African nation has its own history and story to share with the world. Beijing is big. Tokyo is big. Even London can be bigger. However, for many, the beauty of the nation can be measured by any size today. There are many just like Donna who enjoys living in big cities in China. They're witnessing the changes of the nation as well as embracing the Chinese people in a meaningful and friendly way. In the long run, Donna has greater ambition for his own life.
After some time, I may probably work in research related to China, Africa, since I'm also part of a think tank that is based at Communication University of China that researches about China-Africa relations.